Welcome to the Market Me podcast with your host, Mike Mall. Each episode of Market Me deconstructs real campaigns for actual businesses to improve their marketing efforts. Mike is the founder of Social Media House and a digital marketing consultant who teaches marketing strategy to executives and their teams from small business to Fortune 500 companies. Let's get started.
On this episode of the show, we're speaking with Anthony Blatner of Modern Media. Thanks so much for coming on, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Yeah, I'd love to dive in. I know, LinkedIn as a whole, I think has really started to gain incredible momentum in the marketing and content world over the last couple of years. And it's a space, obviously, you guys play in a big way. So I'd love you to take me through how your company works and what type of things you do.
Yeah, so we're a B2B lead generation agency focused on LinkedIn ads, LinkedIn advertising. So we run a lot of campaigns for clients doing lead generation. It's either lead generation or user acquisition style of campaigns to get new people, to attract new people to their companies. Using LinkedIn, it's going to be targeting a niche decision maker. So it's usually a professional buyer leveraging the targeting options that LinkedIn has, because that's what helps it stand out as a platform.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what's the composition of your company? Are you guys the strategy and the creative and the media buying? Are you guys all encompassed?
Yeah, so we are end to end for the lead generation funnels that we're setting up. Our focus is around those lead generation funnels, and we do everything inside of that to get a new client set up and running from start with the strategy, targeting. We have a messaging framework we work through to actually creating the ads and the landing pages and all that will come with that. A lot of our campaigns are lead magnet centric. So usually someone's going to be opting in to download something or sign up for a guide, maybe a free trial or something. That lead magnet, that's usually provided by the company, the client, because that's something that's going to be part of their domain knowledge. We'll help people create those, create effective ones. But other than that, for the most part, we'll handle the funnel end to end.
Awesome. And do you guys play in a specific niche? I mean, B2B is pretty open-ended. Is there like any kind of niche that you, lane that you stay in there, or is it just kind of fairly open-ended?
We're somewhat open-ended. I'd say the big categories where we seem to have most of our clients is the kind of the B2B software tech bubble of like SaaS platforms and software downloads and those kind of services. And then also the professional services area, people who are selling business services, consulting to clients. Those are kind of our main areas. It's whenever somebody needs to target that niche decision maker at scale, that's when LinkedIn comes in handy.
Got it. And I think, it's funny, I don't actually kind of dive this kind of granular on the show, but I think in light of the attraction to online marketing that a lot of people are focused on right now, there's a lot fewer handshake lunches and golf adventures happening right now. So I'd love for you to break down a little bit about how the LinkedIn ad stuff works for somebody who's kind of new to it or not quite sure what it's capable of.
Yeah. So LinkedIn, so kind of just getting started from square one. It's, when I talk to people, it's like, we're all kind of forced inside right now. We're all forced online because all those in-person meetings, going to co-working spaces or going to offices, we can't do that right now. So what I say is, you can't bump into somebody at the water cooler anymore. You kind of have to do it online, and LinkedIn's the best place to do that. LinkedIn's the biggest centralized business community out there. So LinkedIn's, the good place to start because you can reach those people at scale there. So getting started with LinkedIn, I'll advise people if they haven't done any advertising before or if they haven't used LinkedIn before, it kind of starts with get on the platform and start playing with it. So, you probably already have a little bit of a network. People are probably already on there. You can see how you can post content, and then often the first step might be starting to play with some like the Sales Navigator targeting options. Sales Navigator and ads targeting are similar. Most of the targeting options are the same between the two. Some are different. So that's a good place to kind of start playing with it and seeing like doing some searches there and just seeing who is in that list of people. So, take who your target customer is and start diving down into some of that criteria and see who gets returned in those results. And that'll give you a feel for, who's on LinkedIn. You can start just organically reaching out to people, connecting and starting those conversations. And then once, and also if you're a company that's a little more mature, you have a validated offer, you've been, in business for a little while, then advertising is like throwing fuel on the fire. After that, getting into the ad side of LinkedIn, anyone can go create an ad account, and then getting in there, you can create a campaign. And for the most part, most of our campaigns use, it's usually lead generation. So most of our campaigns are using like the LinkedIn lead forms or driving people to a landing page to sign up, are kind of the two most common that we'll use. If you're looking to just play around with it, you can just sponsor a post on your company page and just get a feel for how the ads platform works. But on the ad side, it's free to get in there and create an account. You don't have to run ads. You can just play around with some of the settings in there and get a feel for it. So that's a good place to start.
Yeah, and I think what's really cool, I think one thing I've talked to a lot of people about the use of Facebook ads, and similar to that, LinkedIn ads. I think people don't quite understand the amount of information that they publish to these platforms, that they give these platforms access to. So, the targeting part's amazing, where you can pick people that work within a specific company, by job title, by job function, by company size, by industry, there's so many different things, which is really cool. Because if you've got the picture painted of your perfect customer, you can literally plug all the variables in, and it's like, oh, here's 40,000 of them. So yeah, I really like it as well. And so
those targeting options, that's where like LinkedIn starts to stand out. So, in the grand scheme of things, like I've done a lot of Facebook advertising over the years, and we even like today, we'll add in a lot of like Facebook retargeting for a lot of our campaigns. So we'll usually start with LinkedIn to, top of funnel, acquiring good high quality traffic and then retargeting them on Facebook later. Kind of the way we got into LinkedIn was, we've always worked on a lot of B2B marketing, and we've done Google and Facebook in the day. And there's like one campaign that I remember we took over the account, and they were doing the traditional Facebook and Google marketing. They were a big data platform meant for enterprise, bigger companies, had a higher price tag. So, they were running search campaigns, but a lot of the people that were coming in were either like students doing research or people looking for jobs. And, they were following mostly best practices for like keyword optimization and negatives and stuff like that. But the sales team was just kind of reporting a lot of the leads that were signing up, weren't a great fit, couldn't afford the product. And then people that were signing up through Facebook, it was usually like, people would click on an ad because they thought it was a cute picture, and just their sales team was getting frustrated, basically. So we took over the account and we moved them over to LinkedIn, and targeted companies of like 500 people and above, targeted specifically data scientists and those like CTOs of those companies. And just like right out of the gate from day one, those leads coming in, you can see the company name, you can see the job title, and they're just like, this is the perfect type of lead that we want for, these are the perfect people who are going to buy. So just seeing the turnaround of that campaign, just like black and white between just like, just like a student signing up and like, filling your pipeline with that versus like going over to LinkedIn and getting these higher quality leads. That's why I use LinkedIn.
Yeah, that makes sense. One thing I'm curious about, just from the curiosity standpoint, is, so my guess, and I haven't spent nearly enough money on LinkedIn to know, so this is more of a professional curiosity, from the standpoint of driving to a landing page versus using the lead capture function. My guess, similar to a Facebook ecosystem, is that your conversion rate is lower if you send them to a landing page. Sorry, your conversion rate is higher, but your cost is also higher. And on leads, it's like less qualified people, but a lower cost. Does that stand true on LinkedIn?
We do see landing pages convert less, just the drop off of somebody clicking through, waiting for the page to load, having to type in all their information, submit it. We do run both, and we'll split test them for different use cases and different signups that we're doing. But most of our campaigns are using the lead forms, and it's usually acquiring traffic, there with the lead forms, and then following up over email. Most of these are B2B campaigns, so they'll have somebody who's like in a sales function of the company, then reaching out to those people, and then also retargeting them with ads after they sign up, and kind of like, LinkedIn starts the conversation, gets them into the funnel, and then you retarget them and work the leads after that.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Yeah, it's cool. I don't think there's not a lot of, from what I've seen, I meet with a lot of different companies, but I haven't seen a lot of like heavy LinkedIn focused agencies. So I feel like you guys are kind of one of a handful of the companies that are out there doing it.
Yeah, kind of coming from the Facebook and Google worlds back in the day, I still kind of keep up to date on all the best practices there. We still do a chunk of Facebook advertising, and those are big ecosystems. Those platforms have been around a lot longer. There's a lot more people advertising on them, and just I think just LinkedIn and just B2B is a smaller segment overall in like the grander business landscape. But for all of our work, we just naturally got into it because we were doing a lot of B2B, and like that was just the best channel for targeting those people. That's how we got into it. And yeah, it's a much smaller space compared to like the giant Facebook and Googles out there.
Yeah, for sure. So one question I always like to ask, especially from the agency world side, where do you guys get most of your leads from? I mean, word of mouth always is the strongest channel, but I'm always like curious about kind of 2, 3, and 4 after that, if that's even your order.
Yeah. So the two things are publishing content. So kind of from your point that there's not a lot of people doing LinkedIn. We publish a lot of content, best practices, case studies, and stuff like that, and get a lot of people just kind of organically finding us. It might be somebody at a company who's like, hey, I think LinkedIn's probably a better channel for us. I should look into it a little bit. They might do some research and stumble on our site and contact us. And then running our own ads on LinkedIn. We kind of take our own medicine, and we do a lot of our own testing on our own stuff as well. That's kind of fun to do. And so we'll, if you go to our site, you'll probably be retargeted pretty quickly with an ad. We do a lot of our own lead magnets in LinkedIn ads. And then also, if you've been to our site, you'll probably get another ad for sign up for a consultation. So yeah.
Got it. That's cool. Yeah, I always love that answer, because that always strengthens the relationship with the client, right? They're like, well, if you're telling me to do it, are you doing it? Uh-huh. Oh, okay, well, let's do that then. It makes it an easier sell. That's for sure.
And the funny thing is, like, when they get on the phone, a lot of times, so we set up our own funnels that someone's going to sign up either for a lead magnet or for a consultation. They'll be able to click through and either get what they signed up for, or if they sign up for a consultation, go straight on to, we often build like appointment setting funnels. So they'll click through and go to next step and have a calendar there and be able to select a time and date that works for them, book the meeting, go on from there. And then we'll get a Zoom call, or we'll call them up, and a lot of times they're like, so tell me about your service. And we're like, well, how you got here to talk to us? That's how it works.
Yeah, that's perfect. I love that. And so what are you guys seeing as kind of the future for your business anyway? Is it, onward and upward? There's obviously a huge amount of opportunity in the agency world, and it's are you guys on kind of a growth trajectory with that?
Yeah. So for us as an agency, it's continuing to specialize on LinkedIn, and I think it's, the funnels, focusing on building those funnels out, and other things that we can do to improve these funnels. We've added in retargeting campaigns so that as somebody comes in, they'll sign up, they'll get into the funnel, they'll get email sequences, they'll get retargeted by ads. So there's a lot of like moving parts there that we could continue working on. I'm also very excited to add like our own sales team component to that. So as people come in, for the most part right now, clients will contact their own leads for us to offer that service of we also have a sales team that will call your leads as well. I think that'd be a really cool service to offer. And then as far as LinkedIn goes, so since Microsoft's purchased LinkedIn, at first there weren't a ton of changes, but actually over the last few months, so maybe like last 6 months or so, there's actually been a lot of new features released, both inside the ads platform and just LinkedIn in general. We've seen LinkedIn events come out. So anybody can create an event from your personal page or from a company page. LinkedIn Lives have been out for a little bit, or they're starting to roll out. Some people have access to them. Some people pages have access to them, and they're coming out. And for the most part, LinkedIn does follow Facebook in a lot of ways. We see what works on Facebook. I think they probably see what works on Facebook, and then they're like, okay, well, we should do that too. And it was just announced that LinkedIn Stories are rolling out right now. I think they're just in Brazil right now, where they're testing them. But those are going to be coming to the U.S. eventually soon too. And I think that's going to make advertising even more interesting on LinkedIn, because I've done Facebook ads before, and I've done Facebook story ads, and we actually saw some pretty good performance on story ads. So I do expect them to do well on LinkedIn as well. So between the lives and stories, video is playing a much bigger role on LinkedIn. So, I'm excited for that. LinkedIn continues to build out the functionality of their platform. This might sound funny if you're not familiar with LinkedIn advertising, but there is somewhat limited retargeting capabilities, where Facebook is actually a very advanced platform, where right now on Facebook, you can say, anybody who watched this video in my ad, retarget them. LinkedIn doesn't have that yet. That is coming out soon. So I am excited to see some of these other new features rolling out into the ads platform. We've been playing with these on Facebook for a long time because they've been there. So I'm excited to then take those and apply those on Facebook.
Got it. I'm curious. Yeah. I'm curious. When you run into somebody that, so say they're like, yeah, I want to sign up. This is the piece of content I want to give away. Do you find yourself kind of needing to object, or like, do you guys, one issue that I've always run into with campaigns before, like if your website sucks, I don't want to run your ads. Like if your offer sucks, I don't want to run your ads. How do you think about that? How do you treat that? Do you get involved if you're going to like get involved with a company that doesn't quite have the right either offer or lead capture content? Like do you guys work with them?
Yeah. So within that, we try to mitigate the landing page thing, or like the website thing, by we build the landing pages. As far as the funnel one, we'll build the landing pages. We'll plug them into their subdomain, so it just looks like they're coming right off their domain, or it looks like they're coming from their site. And we'll embed the lead magnet inside that page, whether it's a video or a PDF. So for the most part, like bad websites, we try to mitigate that by building the website. As far as the content goes, the content does need to be, there's a whole strategy around the whole lead magnet selection and stuff like that. We will advise, a lot of times clients will have like a folder of content that we'll kind of pick and choose from. The lead magnet, the best lead magnets are kind of short and easy downloadables, maybe like a checklist or a short PDF, but something that is interesting and valuable to somebody in your target market. If someone's going to sign up and trade their contact information to download something, they need to feel like they got some value out of it, or else they're not going to be happy, and then they're not going to respond to your calls when you call them later. So it does need to be a valuable piece of content. The positioning of it is, thinking about what are the pain points that your customer has that you're solving for them. Position the topic of the lead magnet solely on their pain points and speak to them. A lot of this is top of funnel, so they probably haven't heard of your company before. So you need to have your topic speak to their pain points, and then within the content itself, position your product or service as the solution to their problem, and then give them a call to action in there to go take the next step. But the way the funnel works is, someone's going to sign up for that, go on to receive it, whether it's a PDF or watch a video, and then have that call to action to be able to go book a call from there or learn more after that.
Got it. And do you typically see within that sales process that sales call kind of works, or it's like after we start dripping out more content, then eventually they kind of sign up? Like, is it later usually?
Yeah, good question. So there's some people that will go click through right away and book an appointment. But for the most part, this is a top of funnel strategy. So these are great for like starting the conversation. And we find that you do need to have either an outbound sales effort to these people who are signing up, or a nurture sequence to continue to stay top of mind. Kind of the variables there, or like the factors at play, is most B2B buying cycles are a bit longer. So a lot of times, someone has a pain point, they're interested in your product, but maybe they need to go get approval from somebody in their department. They need to do a little bit more research. It's not usually an instant buy or instant sign up, but it's a good way to start the conversation with somebody who is a prospective buyer.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. I think I'm seeing I have a lot of these conversations with people in different spaces, different industry, coaches, consultants, marketers. And I think, leading with something that they get for free, in my opinion, like the way I kind of positioned it is give them something for free that they've likely already paid for or considered paying for in the past. Because if you start with that, their instinct must be like, well, what else do these guys have to offer? Like, to give that for free, like there's got to be something bigger coming down the pipe. And so I feel like it gets people more excited for the next step.
Yeah, it definitely like warms them up. they've learned something from you. They now see you as, they trust you a little bit more. They see you as an expert, and they understand you and your business a little bit more, kind of builds that brand recognition and that familiarity.
Absolutely. Well, look, man, I really appreciate you coming on. It was really interesting to hear about how if either people are interested in more about the company, or if there's people that are in the B2B or the SaaS in the SaaS ecosystem that may want to use your services. Where would they find you?
So they can contact me. Email is anthony@modernmedia.io. Go to our website, learn more about us. You can, of course, find us and me on LinkedIn. I'm the only Anthony Blatner out there.
Nice.
So feel free to connect with me. If you're interested in learning more, we have a lot of content on our site about LinkedIn and about just B2B lead generation. We have our modern guide to lead generation, which is a good starting point for anybody who's just starting to learn about this stuff. And then on our blog, we have a lot of advanced tips and tricks for LinkedIn and for B2B lead gen.
Amazing. All right, man. We'll really appreciate you coming on the show, and I wish you all the best.